All right, welcome, kings and queens. Today we are back and we are talking love and marriage Huntsville. I feel like I just covered this topic, but I really didn't. What I did cover yesterday was the audio leak, the leaked tapes of Ariana Curry confiding in original Straight No Chaser. So I covered that. But today I am going to cover A Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 7, episode 2. I just really need to jump right in with this one. This was a struggle episode for me. I could barely really extract any content. So I'm just going to cover very, very quickly three players. I'm going to cover Tiffany, and then I am going to cover Leticia and Marcel. Y'all ready? All right, let's do it. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
I think I'm going to start with Tiffany. When I watched this episode, I paused. I paused for two reasons. I paused as a woman, and I paused as a married woman. And I took my content creator, my blogger hat, and I turned it backwards. And I really looked at Tiffany just as an individual, as a person, as a woman, as a woman and as a wife. And y'all, my heart just broke for Tiffany. Tiffany's struggling, in my opinion. I feel like there's something going on. There's definitely something here. The crying, the tears, or the what am I trying to say? The suppression of the tears. She's really trying to hold back. And Tiffany's a strong girl. She's a Scorpio, and she's very witty, very smart, very pushy, edgy, all of that. And I really feel like I have an understanding of why she's attempting to hold back the tears. I feel like if she lets them come out, they may never stop. Oh, at the end of the day, I'm leaning along the lines of possible trouble in paradise. And y'all, those are tears of sadness. Those are tears of disconnect. Those are tears of loneliness. Because in my opinion, Tiffany had a plan, probably not even a plan, a fantasy of what she thought this baby probably would do. And that's not the actual reality. And I think her feelings are hurt. And I think Tiffany is probably her love tank is on E. How about that? She's not getting what she needs. And that's okay. Women, it's okay for us to say that. I think she needs more from her husband, and she's not getting it. I don't know how much more direct or blank I can be. That's what I'm picking up. So let me tell you what else I noticed. I picked up on it when she had a very emotional reaction last season at her baby shower. Do y'all remember? She mentioned something like, I just need to know where my husband is. And I thought that was very odd considering the environment and the tone, like in the occasion, I'm sorry. You were here at your baby shower for you and your husband, and you're both welcoming a new baby. What do you mean you just need to know where your husband is? Your husband is outside confronting Marsau, Martel, and Maurice regarding their treatment of you. So your husband is in the room. Where'd you think he would be? I found that odd. That was a red flag to me. Okay. And she also said, or did y'all not notice how you remember when she started having pains and Kimmy said we need to call an ambulance to at least check your blood pressure. Well, she said, I just need my husband to hug me or something like that. I am not using all of the right exact words, but she wanted attention and physical touch from her husband. I remember that. Okay. And then she reached out for her husband. I could be wrong, but she reached out for her husband and he embraced her, and it seemed to have calmed her down in that manner. Now, big or small, I picked up on it. I picked up on it as a woman, and I picked up on it as a wife. And you know what? I didn't say big. I said big or small. I take that back. That was small. But that was leading up, in my opinion, to where we are today. Now, here's the thing regarding where we are today. That's why you don't chase a man, Tiffany. Because if I'm correct, you orchestrated a surprise wedding for Lewis. In that scenario, Tiffany was the hunter. And ladies, it's not your job to hunt. Eventually, ladies, when you take that approach, the hunting approach, the aggressive approach, you will tire. I wanted to say she's going to tire herself out. And that's what we're seeing. When a woman takes the aggressive approach of being the hunter in the relationship and during the courtship, eventually it's going to wear you down. You are not built for that because it's not in your DNA. And now that you've decided, Tiffany, that you would much rather sit back and be in your soft girl era, I don't know if Lewis is ready. If Lewis could compliment you in that manner, give you what you need, because subconsciously, I wonder if he's expecting you to suck it up because all he knows is the go-getter, the take charge woman, the woman who's got it all together. And I'm not saying we need to have it all together, but I'm saying we need to be very careful of the bar that we set for ourselves. Okay? You should let me move on. Let me move on. Um I have to say, I am sure that both Tiffany and Lewis love the new addition to the family. However, Tiffany, I believe like you strong, based on what we saw on the screen, I feel like you may have strong armed Lewis into giving in to having a baby. Now, he tried to warn you about the intense work schedule, and he said, we barely have time now. And he really encouraged you as the lead of the home to think through this. Oh, I don't want to get into a blame game, but sometimes you need to listen to your husband. Now, my question to you that are tuned in is if you and your husband, you and your partner, you and your mate decide that you want to have another baby and one or the other is not ready, where do you go from there? If she wants the baby and he doesn't, does he have to comply because she's the woman? Because he did not want that baby at that time. Y'all help me out with this one. How do you deal with that? Ladies, do you push? Do you sit back, you wait? Or do you become happy with the 3, 2, or 1 child that you have? I'm picking up sadness from Tiffany. I think Tiffany outsmarted herself, and I think she's in over her head. Lewis is gone a lot, and it seems like he's gone even more so now than he has been gone over the past 4 years, okay? Now, this is surprising to me because they talked about it very quickly, but they never made it seem like it was a huge issue in the marriage. I know Lewis joked a lot about wanting more sexy time, but I did not know that this was a huge barrier then. Or is this something, Lewis, that has now just come up in the marriage where now you really, really, really are traveling? I don't know. It's something there. I am just trying to connect the dots, but I'm picking. Okay, we're going to transition to Leticia and Marcel. And I'm sorry. In my opinion, y'all, in this episode, Leticia and Marcel came across so cringy to me. It was definitely cringe worthy, and they earned every single moment of it, in my opinion. I feel like Leticia and Marcel, after me watching this episode, I knew there was some questionable moments throughout the years in the history of Love and Marriage Huntsville. But after I watched this episode, I was really like, y'all will do anything to claw your way to the top. And I place a lot of emphasis on claw. There's a distinct difference between working your way to the top and clawing your way to the top. And that's the reason As I was sitting back watching them, I was like, you know what? That's the reason people don't like to help folks. I can see why people could have this attitude and being very hesitant about helping everyone because there's a risk in bending over backwards to help people like Leticia and Marcel get on their feet when they've never been on their feet at the caliber that Martel and Melody were able to bring them up to. People like that often will, and they aim to come for your spot on the top as the top dog. And if they don't have the guts and the courage to come after you, or they don't have the work ethic like a Leticia and a Marceau, they fantasize about it. Watching their scene with the Fletchers, it gave me a lot of insight. And it occurred to me that both of them, husband and wife, both of them are super duper insecure. Now, they are supposed to be self proclaimed and self made business people, right? Yet every business scene that I've seen them have or conduct on this show has been extremely unproductive and undeniably unprofessional. If you listen to what they were saying in this dinner scene, of all the things they could say, they did nothing but talk shit about two other people that helped them when they were that helped them and reached back to pull them up when they were at their lowest. And it's funny, man. Now I see how the like celebrities and people that really come or work their way into a particular financial status are really hesitant, really hesitant to help people in a different income bracket because there's no value with free. There's no value with free. That'll hit later on. And also, there's a saying that no good deed goes unpunished. But it was very cringe worthy to hear them talk shit about two people that helped them. Not so much Marcel. They try to, I'm sorry, not so much Martel, right? What they try to do was bundle it together to come at Melody. There's no way I would ever fix my mouth to talk down on somebody that was kind enough to help me. And it was nothing but tearing down other successful Black people. And I really need you to think about that. Imagine somebody that you've shifted your coin for, and I mean shift, made room on the table, right? With your coin. You've done something by way of your business, your money, whatever it is, your opportunity, and you've shifted things around just so that they could have a seat at the table. And then they try or they go behind your back and eat you alive. The Mind of Lilith does a really good breakdown of Leticia and Marcel, specifically Leticia, when it comes to her envy and how she covets Melody's success. You got to be very careful. But he looked at the Fletchers, Marcel, when I say he, and he said, Leticia and I have been doing this for years. Yeah, but you failed to mention who opened up the door for you. The introduction to the business, who introduced you to the business, who helped you, who gave you the skill set, the resources, the network opportunity, who helped you build your pipeline because you didn't get there on your own. And, while you're attacking Melody and trying to downplay her work ethic and what she's done for herself as a woman, we're not even talking about what she built with Martel, but what she's done for herself as a woman. It's called options, Marcel. And Melody has those. Money opens up many doors. And I am sure that if Melody wanted to return to the real estate investment market and compete head on with you as a competitor, she could do that. She could do that. But when you got money and you're a big bank Hank, like Melody Cherie, then guess what? Your money, her money has allotted her the benefit of opting out, sir. She doesn't have to be there. She has options. And if you would humble yourself and not bite the hand that feeds you, You could have been further along than what you are. Like Chris said, or like Nell said, maybe in 29 years they'll get to where we are. While y'all trying to talk shit about Nell and Chris and Melody and Martell. Okay. I want to call out something real quick, a trend and a pattern that I have noticed between both Leticia and Marcel. Both of them, they take turns tearing down other people within this group. They took turns tearing down Melody and Martell. But let me back up. When Chris and Nell came into the dinner, of all the things that Leticia could have said kindly about Chris, she honed in on things that were insignificant. She said, "Are you still making those TikToks?" Girl, of all the things you could have said about this man, and I've noticed, they go in and they try to call out things where they feel more elevated. So let's just say if you're a business owner, you're doing great things, they're going to call out the smallest thing, right? That you may do for fun, as a hobby, the most minute thing, and use that and weaponize that against you. And I just thought it was tacky, you know. Then she asked, Chris Fletcher and his lovely wife, Nell Fletcher, are two significant pillars, successful pillars in the community of Huntsville, Alabama. And don't play with them people. Don't play with them because I know you know what time it is when they sit in front of you. You know who's sitting in front of you, but what you want to do is try to downplay them. And this is how I knew that both of them are full of crap when it comes to they can't, y'all. That's crazy. It's hard to be around somebody that cannot recognize what you bring to the table. And I don't mean they need to be kissing somebody's butt or anything like that, but it's hard to be around two envious ass mofos. You got to get them out your group ASAP. You can't celebrate around them. They always got jokey jokes about you. It's just really negative, bad energy. But Leticia was lying. She knew exactly um, what Chris brought to the table and also what Nell brought to the table. But what I wanted to say earlier is they like to tag team other people within this group. They did it before between Melody and Martell when they were going through their stuff. They did it, then they attacked Tiffany and Lewis. They spun the block on Melody. They spun the block on Tiffany. And then Marcel is coming after Stormy. And now that he couldn't get Courtney to back down, he's going to come after Courtney passive in a passive aggressive manner later on this season when we see him refer to Courtney as Mr. Steele, you know, enough disrespect to get your ass whooped. Now, if Courtney decides to pop off next season, because three strikes and you out, bro. You done disrespected that man twice. One, by just talking to his wife instead of going to him. Number two, by referring to him as Mr. Steele. Third strike, you're out. Third strike, you're out, Marcel. And, regardless of what Kiki has, he keeps coming after Kiki. Whatever she has going on, he keeps coming after her. It's real tacky, Marcel. And I'm starting to think, or I'm very curious. What's your thing with women? What's your thing with women? Because Courtney's right. You show like getting in women's business and you like picking on women. And that makes me wonder what kind of mother he had. Was their mom dominant? Did your mama bully you? Like, I need to know. Because, bro, you out here looking real bad in these Huntsville streets and on this television screen. You looking like a bitch boy right now. You really are. A sassy one, too. That loves to get in women's business. That loves to pick on women. And I'm glad Stormy was disrespectful and called him. That was so damn funny. This episode that's coming up when Stormy say, Stormy said he wants to be a woman. That is funny because he does act like he want to be a woman. But let me get back on track. Marsau is a very strange man, in my opinion, because I feel like he lives in a world of delusion. So much so to the fact that he lies And it's quite disturbing to listen to him lie. And this motherfucker will lie so cool and so smooth, y'all, and then look at you and try to make you feel like you crazy. Something wrong with you. And that tells me he has mastered this all of his life. And I wonder if there was a lot of physical abuse in their household because typically, when that type of behavior morphs into an adult and you don't leave that shit behind as an adolescent, it's because you had to lie. You really had to lie like that to maybe not get your ass whooped, to not get abused or something. But that he carried allegedly he carried that with him into adulthood, and it's so strange to watch it. It was very strange to hear it in those court recordings, in that court deposition that Trending Topics did an excellent job of covering. Go listen to it, y'all. It is so good. Watch her break it down. Watch her read out Marsau's answers on the court transcript. This nigga is certified. They said to the point that the people in court had to ask him if he was under the influence of anything. Okay. As I was watching this, I was like, lie number one, lie number two, lie number three. Let me outline 3 different lies that they told when the Fletchers confronted them about not being invited to the expo after Marceau confirmed to them that he would most definitely invite them. Lie number one, he claimed to not have known what they did for a living. That's a lie. You know damn well what Chris Fletcher brings to the table and what he does for a living. Okay. You know what Nell does because Leticia knew that she owned a daycare. And you and Leticia run your mouth a lot about what everybody else has going on. That's lie number one. Leticia told you right then and there, oh, she has a daycare, a child care center. Number two, the second lie is when they said, oh, we were being hesitant about inviting you all, but you told them you were. So now you go back home and change your mind and come with a bullshit ass excuse that you're being hesitant about inviting them now because you met them through the Holts, but you friends with Martel. That's lie number two. Lie number three. You then said that, well, Leticia Marcel, he started it off. Leticia tag teamed it with them. Y'all both claim that y'all have to be very careful and cautious with your relationship with Melody. Okay. And you implied that, you're not really sure how to handle that. That's a damn lie because you asked Melody to participate in the Black Expo. You wanted her to speak. She told you she couldn't do it. And then you offered her a virtual opportunity. And I know Maurice is the one that said the virtual opportunity. But Marcel, you distinctively looked at Melody in that meeting and said, Mel, will you be able to participate? So you a damn lie. You weren't being cautious. You were hoping that Melody Cherie would sign her name on a dotted line. And as a matter of fact, she declined the offer. So you weren't being cautious about anything. Melody turned you down. That was lie number three. Now, they claim, or Marceau claims that they speak from a place of experience. Sir, mm-mm. No, 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 sir. You and your wife are a perfect use case example outlining what not to do in business, sir. Textbook examples, if I could be honest. Chris, let me tell you something. They didn't want you there. Marceau didn't want you there because you are legit. Name me one legitimate above the water business relationship the Scotts have had on camera and or off camera. Hell, that court deposition proved that. And now that I'm starting to wonder after I heard that court transcript, I wonder if you even had permission to put those people's name down in that proposal. There's a huge part of me that's very suspicious about that. Some of those names, you listed the names and then they were not given the jobs. I think you made some shit up to get that to win that proposal. And then people probably never knew you put their names down. That's where I'm going with, allegedly. But yeah, Chris, he didn't want you there. You too clean. You too clean. And you would run circles around his ass. And Leticia and Marcel are the type that don't want to be judged. They don't want feedback, constructive criticism on what they could do better or well. You see in the next coming up episode, she gets up and walks off when they try to give her feedback. To my, I sense hating. Ain't nobody hating on you, girl. It's called debriefing or a post mortem. But these are self-proclaimed business people that have been doing this a long time. So where do you get your feedback? How do you know where to scale, when to pull back? If you cannot take criticism, constructive criticism, child, make it make sense. Um, Now, moving forward, I need you to be quicker on your feet. The next time she look in your face as a grown woman, and if she asks you if there was infidelity in your marriage, don't smile. Or if you do smile, say whatever you're gonna say, then turn right back around and ask her about her marriage and if there's been infidelity in her marriage. To me, that was a very invasive question, and I felt like it was highly inappropriate for her to ask you that. Especially with them claiming they don't really know y'all like that. You get what I'm saying? Then bitch, get out my marriage. How about that? Y'all see what I'm saying? Leticia knows what she's doing. She has a very jealous spirit and all that evil dark heart that she called Melody. Maybe you want to do some introspection on yourself. Because to sit in front of that lady and ask her that when you claim you don't, she's just a pretty face and you don't know what she brings to the table. So that's why she was not invited to your expo. You got your nerve, the audacity of it all. It's that simple now. Next time, just ask her, have you experienced infidelity in your marriage? And then Marcel. Y'all, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Marcel, my question to you is how do you claim not to know what Chris Fletcher does for a living when you used him as your real estate alibi when your big wide back dropped on the internet? Make it make sense.